So guys, watch Rufai blast Tinubu for promising the lawmakers re-election victory. He told them all of them are coming back. This is happening during the presentation of the budget. Honestly, Nigerians have been reacting to this statement, and some people are saying that it's just like what he said in Edo State when he said he was going to take over Edo State, and we saw it in the last election, how that election went. Until today, Tinubu is silent over the kind of, dubious things that INEC did in Edo State. So guys, Tinubu is saying that all the lawmakers, because they stood with him, because they've proven that they are rubber stamped, that they are going to return come 2027. This is coming at a time when there is this ugly report about insecurity in Nigeria, and people have been lamenting over what is currently happening in the country. So guys, I'm going to just allow you to take a look at this video. Just watch it for yourself and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Take a look.
Well said. We'll take another story. On Wednesday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented the 2025 appropriation bill of 49.7 trillion naira to a joint session of the 10th National Assembly in Abuja. While concluding his presentation, the president mistakenly addressed the joint session as the 11th National Assembly. Well, a lawmaker immediately corrected the president following an uproar by the sitting members. While reacting to the lawmakers, President Tinubu said the error implies that members of the 10th Assembly were all re-elected. Let's take a look.
I hereby present the 2025 budget to the joint section of the 11th National Assembly. 10th? I wrote 11. You are all re-elected.
On your mandate, we shall stand. Rufai. Ayo, what happened to the president here? I mean,
so I watched the live broadcast.
Okay,
and I saw that. So immediately he said, first of all, there were many cringe moments, at yesterday that I thought maybe shouldn't have happened. For instance, the singing of "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand," almost like an anthem. I'm sure that we have a diverse mix of people in the House, not only APC members. So it'll be interesting to see what the other party members have to say, or their parties have to say about them. All of them singing on their mandates. But aside that, the moment he said 11th, I thought, no, I'm sure this is the 10th Assembly. And immediately, in fairness to the president, immediately he was able to catch himself when they said, there was like heckling.
What was he supposed to do? I don't understand.
He was smart, like his comeback was smart. So him saying you're all re-elected was a comeback to say that maybe he was being prophetic by saying that if he was speaking to the same set of people in the 11th Assembly, then it must mean that they were all elected.
The president has a great sense of humor.
Yeah, he has a great sense of humor, and he has, kudos to him. But I do think that whoever wrote that speech ought to get an official query.
But he covered for the person that wrote the speech, Rufai.
He's a good team player.
I mean, maybe to say the least, there are lots of speeches that purely under this administration that have been written that are just lies. Too much lies. Which one can I remember? I mean, we're talking about one today when we were talking about the fact that they are cleared ways and means, which was not true. In fact, another one they said we have brought in FDI of 25 billion, which is not true. There are many things. So, but like Ayo said, he gave a good comeback, but he's not the one that's going to determine if they're going to be re-elected. I'm sure those lawmakers know that they have to go through a very strong electoral process and everything. And on your mandate, we shall stand thing. It's distasteful, I should say.
All right.
But Ayo, you're also making the point as regards, there are other varying members of the National Assembly. Yes, but also in the National Assembly, where most of even the Labour Party lawmakers have defected, they have defected to the APC, and nothing is happening.
Yes, that happened.
And that's the shocking part, So you see that people will just be defecting in this country. You will go on a platform, you will fight for election on a platform, then you will defect. Then nothing will happen to you because you're in the party.
All right. Dr. Abati, it was for me the round of applause when President Tinubu said that you are all re-elected. I mean, what were they trying to, are they excited or are they just trying to cover up the whole?
Well, humor is part of the tools of politicking. And I think that the president was being humorous there.
Yes.
He knows that these politicians, all of them, members of parliament, belong to different constituencies. And they will either win or lose in 2027, essentially on their own steam. He's not in a position to dictate whether they will come or not.
Yes.
And that was why they all laughed and all of that. Now, the people who sang on your mandate, we stand, it's commonsensical. Even the British Assembly, in the House of Commons, if your party is in the majority, they will hear you. They will even crowd out.
Do they play
they may not sing.
In the parliament.
But they can stand, they can clap, they can say here, here, and they will crowd out the opposition. The only thing in Nigeria is that I would not be surprised even if members of the opposition join in making that singing that
I saw them
national
now.
anthem. So that's the way politics goes in Nigeria.
Yes, absolutely.
But the main substance of the presentation yesterday, beyond the side humor and all of that, is the budget itself. It is the budget that we should all be concerned about. And some of those issues, we have raised them in our conversation with Tanimu Yakubu. Issues about are they going to fund the budget? The distribution. Why is it that defense and security gets lion's share? Right. What is actually, the projection for 2025? Why did they fail to meet the calendar? These are the more serious-minded issues. As for the humor, politicians they will laugh, but I think Nigerians need to take a look again at that budget before the National Assembly rubber stamps it. Because all that conviviality is an indication of, the fact that they will rubber stamp it. Even Senator Akpabio is already praising the budget.
Yes, he's praising it, and he even praised Tinubu because I had a story of him saying that
any more money to that budget too. We are begging.
I was saying,
it's not that you go to
Akpabio.
National Assembly and they will pad it too.
I was talking about Akpabio. He said that the Tinubu.
The president has just confirmed that they were only going to announce themselves return to power. So congratulations, Mr. President. Then about whether the appointment of new ministers and new one will change anything. Look, the president at one point in time said he has started implementation of Orosonya's report after 12 years. That report streamlined agencies of government and matched some. While the president on one breath is implementing that report, which is cutting the cost of governance, every blessed day the government is making new appointments, not more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10. So one tends to wonder, what is the government actually pursuing? Is the government on reforms or is the government on a jobbery? Because you cannot be talking about cutting the cost of governance. You are expanding the Federal Executive Council, adding more ministers. You are also making appointments every day. Even in organizations which you have accepted the report at the Federal Executive Council meeting and said, we are implementing the report that's streamlined, you are making appointments into it. So embarrassing also is the point that they appoint people into some offices today, and then tomorrow they come back out to say, those offices does not exist. So all about what is happening currently is that Nigeria, there is a state capture. Nigerians have been captured by a group of rulers who now see themselves as the country. They define themselves as the country. The resources is meant for them, and there is nothing serious going on, which is indeed quite unfortunate. We had hoped that the president, with his experience, would rather work towards uniting the country. I mean, be more purposeful in economic reforms and be meticulous in the management of the lean resources. There should be fiscal discipline. But all these remain academic concepts to be discussed by Olive, my brother today, and others on television stations and other social media platforms. For the government, I mean, they are in a world of themselves, and Nigerians are under the jackboot of what my co-discussants refer to as, I mean, dictatorial tendencies. So we're under some form of dictatorial democracy.
Devastating news in Oyo State, where at least 30 children lost their lives, with many injured in a stampede that occurred during a Christmas fun fair in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Wednesday. Well, according to reports, the children's fun fair was organized by the ex-wife of the Oni of Ife, Queen Naomi Ogunwusi, who planned to host 5,000 children at the Islamic High School, Basharun, where the children will win exciting prizes, scholarships, and other bountiful gifts before the tragedy occurred.
Alessa, bring water. Alessa, bring water, please. Bring water.
Only 5,000. Only 5,000. Lòun nílò. Only 5,000 ni. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ọ̀nà àwọn ọmọ tó ń fẹ́, tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn ẹ̀gán pé ẹ bá farabalẹ̀ ní. Ó gba táwọn ìbá yìí àti tó 5,000 naira. Láì tó 5,000 rárá. Torí wípé àìfarabalẹ̀ gbogbo wa, olóúnjẹ kórí báyìí. Irọ́ sì fi ń dé.
So ẹ sì lọ́mọ tẹ́ wá báyìí. Ó kẹ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ ọmọ tẹ́ wá báyìí. Ọmọ kan ti kú báyìí. Nǹkan ti kú wà ní stage báyìí.
This was a really sad incident, really needless death that occurred in Oyo State. And I mean, there's been some response, especially from the governor of the state, Seyi Makinde, who put out a statement saying that the organizers of the event have been, taken into custody and investigations over the incidents have been initiated. He also said that measures have been put in place to prevent further deaths at the venue. I believe that they had, taken some of the casualty to the, nearby hospitals in Ibadan. But, there's been reactions, and I want to take Peter Obi's tweet before we discuss. Peter Obi wrote a lengthy tweet, and his statement reads in part. He said, "This tragedy, which occurred during what should have been a moment of joy, highlights the harsh realities of our society, a country where the scramble for basics such as food, drinks, and small gifts often lead to unimaginable sorrow. How did we, as a people, reach a point where children, the very symbols of hope and the future, lose their lives in the pursuit of something as simple as Christmas gifts? This calamity exposes the deep inequality, pervasive poverty, and desperation afflicting our nation. It also reveals a broader failure in event planning, crowd control, and the fundamental duty to safeguard human lives. As we mourn these young lives, let us commit to building a society where such incidents are unthinkable. The measure of a nation's greatness lies in its care for the vulnerable, and this moment should inspire us to create a safer, more inclusive Nigeria. We owe it to these children to ensure their deaths inspire lasting change." I mean, the part of Peter Obi's tweet where he mentioned failure of event planning. I believe the organizers of the event, like I mentioned, one of them was the ex-wife of the Oni of Ife, who had, put out a statement at a radio station saying that, she was inviting children. I believe there was 5,000 of them, and 7,000 showed up, if you saw that crowd there. And, at the time when the stampede occurred, there was no sort of, safety measures to guard these children. There were children between the ages of, infants to 13 years old. Ayo.
This is such a sad news, and first of all, our condolences to all families affected, and of course the governor of Oyo State, who has responded very swiftly to this incident. An eyewitness report from one of the parents in the Nation newspaper said that they'd arrived as early as, a lot of people had arrived as early as 5 a.m. 6 a.m. So there was a crowd already in front of the gate. It was when the gate was open. And I'm sure many of us in Nigeria have seen things like that, where a lot of people are pushing against the gate because there's so many people outside. So once the floodgates open, as it were, people just rush in massively. Before then, at that time, because of the crowd, some people had already started fainting. At that time, some people, so of course, if you have children, very young children there, some people had fallen on the floor. And when you have a mammoth crowd like that, they were stepping on the children. And unfortunately, they lost their lives. It raises a lot of questions. And I'm glad that we've spotlighted the impact of poverty on people's reactions and response. 5,000 naira for 5,000 children was such a big deal that a mammoth crowd beyond 5,000 emerged. So the organizers should have taken that into context, knowing that since they didn't have any measures in place, whether a ticket, an armband, or a pre-registration, there was a possibility of an oversubscription of human beings coming there. What provisions did they make in the events that they had more people than required there? Maybe the first question to ask was the venue capacity. Could it take 5,000 people? Because if you have a crowd like that and then you see so many people, it means that perhaps the school wasn't even sufficient for the crowd that they were expecting. We see this happen a lot of times and people take such risks. The other thing is, was there supposed to be a permit that should have been given for such a massive crowd gathering? Was that permit obtained by the organizers? If this wasn't done, then it's a case of negligence on their side. Was there provision for emergency responses? We've seen large events happen. There's no ambulance in sight. There are no paramedics in sight to respond to emergency situations like this. If that wasn't done, again, another case of negligence on the part of the organizers. Going on to go on radio later on to say, oh, which capacity was too late, too little, too late at the end of the day. So this is carelessness, negligence, but unfortunately, guess what? It's led to the loss of lives, and so people should pay for this. Because if we don't have examples of people not following due process when they want to hold such, even though it was in good faith, good gesture, if we don't have examples of this, then we're going to continue to see needless lives being lost. Finally, poverty. Poverty has been weaponized in such a way that we have turned our people to beggars. Yes. We've turned our people to almost animal-like situation. We saw this where we're sharing bread, people will be scrambling, killing themselves for a piece of bread. It highlights a failure as well of government to meet the needs of the people such that desperate measures are taken for a piecemeal. Yes. It is very sad.
Yes, well said, Ayo. I mean, really, really sad incident. It's going to be a black Christmas for many families in Ibadan. May their souls rest in peace, and I hope that, the families get some justice. We'll take another story. In Abia State now, where the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control shut down 150 shops in Ezioku Market in Abia. The agency, in a post on X, stated that it uncovered a large-scale network involved in the production and distribution of counterfeit and expired goods, including beverages, wines, and spirits, and revalidated food products like noodles and powdered milk. The counterfeit items destroyed, according to the agency, were valued at 5 billion naira.
Here is a home of fake products. In this area now, they revalidate all kinds of minerals, Fanta, Coke, Amstel, Hollandia products, all their products, Lacasera, they revalidate, they do a revalidation here. We stumble into one shop. Their main deal here is they produce all kinds of milk. This is fake milk. This is pig choco. This is Ovaltine. This is Cowberry chocolate drink. They are also refilling all sort of tomato, also in the supermarket. This is soya tomato. This is golden penny vegetable oil. It has been repackaged here. This is it. You can see the liquid ones and the particles inside. This is a warehouse of, wait, they do repackaging here.
Oh my God.
Well, kudos to NAFDAC. This was a 2-day raid. I mean, I cannot imagine the amount of people that may have been affected by these fake products. Unbelievable. I believe NAFDAC said that Asia-Cool market is a hotspot for counterfeit and, substandard products. They said illegal activities persist in that market despite, an agreement that was signed, I believe, back in December 2023 to combat and expose counterfeiters operating in the market. I would like to take a tweet really quickly before we discuss. This person wrote, most time, it's the products that it sees. What happens to the producers of these fake products? Until the producers are jailed and the properties used for the production is also confiscated, there won't be an end to these evil practices. Rufai.
Truth has to be said. And please, this is a Nigerian killing fellow Nigerians.
Yes.
It's not government.
No.
It's not Tinubu. Because when we blame government all we can, we forget that some Nigerians are dangerous people. Very dangerous. In the words of somebody, dangerous. Very dangerous people. And this must be stopped. And kudos to NAFDAC as regards this. But that tweet is also important. Because what happens, Audrey, is it's always the foot soldiers they arrest. There are some key people in this country. It goes back to the concept of big manism. There are some key people that are in the vanguard of things like this. And like we're discussing, it also brings about loss to those companies. Manufacturers have been complaining that they can't sell their inventories. So apart from the economic condition, these people are also shutting away businesses and they're killing people. And this is what gets into the markets. Just look at drinks. Just imagine people that have consumed this.
Can you imagine?
I remember when Dora Akunyili was alive. Then you remember the case of paracetamol that was chalk and other drugs like that. So these are Nigerians, and we would like to plead, please, do not destroy the lives of others, because what goes around comes around. Somebody close to you might be the one buying these counterfeit products you're putting out there.
Absolutely.
And also, the market leaders too should be brought in. They have associations.
Yes.
They should be brought in this advocacy to be able to smoke people like this out. The police too. Yes, they need to do a lot as regards smoking these people out. We need to see justice done. And the ecosystem must be shattered.
Absolutely.
Especially people that are selling the raw materials to them, the containers to them, and the entire ecosystem must be shattered.
Yeah,
and I say that it's not the case that they will just report this now and we'll forget it.
Yeah, 5 billion naira worth of goods. Dr. Patti, this is not the first time we are seeing this incident.
And it might not be the last.
And like you said, it might not be the last. But I really like that tweet. We are seeing this confiscation going on over and over again, but no naming and shaming of the perpetrators of this crime, Dr. Patti.
Okay, the naming and shaming of the perpetrators is important because this is not the first time it has happened, and it will happen again. People selling fake products, people changing expiry dates, capitalizing on the general ignorance that is abroad within the country, to the extent that when people even buy items, they don't bother to even check whether the item has expired or not. As long as it looks like what they are looking for, they just go ahead and buy it. Now, the real public danger that is involved here is that it has to do with public health. Only God knows how many persons have had, food poisoning, or, have died as a result of consuming expired products of various categories. Now, that's why the intervention by NAFDAC is important. But is it possible for us to have a culture of, standards, of respect for standards in Nigeria? We have NAFDAC in the Food and Drugs Administration category, but we also have the Standards Organization of Nigeria. Now, there's something they talk about in Britain. They talk about the British standard. It even applies even to the quality of a ballpoint pen that is sold. People who know the system will tell you, no, it's British standard. They make it sound like that British standard, unless it exists, it will not work. Do we have such a standard here in Nigeria? Despite the fact that we have the Standard Organization of Nigeria. It should be taken for granted that there should be a standard to anything, whether it's a drink or it's a piece of machinery or whatever. The other problematic part is that, look, in this country, we always blame leadership. Oh, leadership is the problem of Nigeria. Chino Achebe has written a book, The Problem with Nigeria. Look, what we have seen here is a clear demonstration that followership is also a big problem in this country. Nigerians are very wicked, sadistic set.
I mean, come on.
Look, if they have an opportunity to take advantage of you, the average Nigerian will take advantage of you. Look at how people drive on the streets. You run into any kind of a challenge on the road, your fellow Nigerian will be looking for how to exploit you. When there was an issue with food inflation, even earlier this year, in certain communities, some elders of the communities were going to the markets to say, no, you cannot sell tomato at this amount. Even the people who bring tomato from the north, they are selling at a cheaper price. You just want to punish your fellow Nigerians, and then you turn around, you say it's Tinubu. You say it's Tinubu. How is it Tinubu? If you people yourself, you are very exploitative and very cruel people with a mindset.
Yeah.
So, and that's why national reorientation is very important. To educate, to reorientate Nigerians that we are all in this environment to survive together. They call it Ubuntu. I am because we are.
Exactly.
There's some people think that no, that sense of communalism, is not important. It's such people also that are the ones producing these fake drugs, fake drinks, that the state must identify.
Absolutely.
And sanction them to send a lesson to other people that because you want to make money and be rich, you say 5 billion. You want to make 5 billion at the expense of other people.
Other people's lives.
Which is unacceptable.
Absolutely. Well said, Dr. Abati.
So guys, watch Rufai react to Tinubu's statement during the presentation of the budget where he promised the lawmakers re-election victory. He told them, all of you are coming back. The same thing he said about Edo State, that he's going to take over Edo State from PDP. And we saw what happened in the last election. Now, Tinubu is already promising the lawmakers, because we all know they are just rubber stamped. He's promising them re-election. So guys, take your time, watch this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take a look. So guys, you have seen it. A whole lot of things are happening in Nigeria. When you look at how things are going in this country, you just know that we don't have leaders. We don't have leaders who care about the people. We don't have leaders who care about Nigeria. We don't have leaders who care about the well-being of the people. We just have leaders who are self-centered, who care just about themselves, who do not want to know about what is happening to the ordinary man. All they know, just see how they came into power. Before you know it, they bought vehicles. Even when Nigeria has no money, they are renovating houses. They are doing all kinds of things just for themselves. While Nigerians were crying of hunger, these people were busy changing furnitures, changing office, renovating houses and residences and all that. That's to tell you how detached these people are from the reality. And come 2027, now you will still see Nigerians who will go to queue to campaign for Tinubu. So guys, I think we should start solving these problems within ourselves. By the time we reject these politicians, no matter how they want to rig it will be difficult for INEC to rig, because it will be obvious to everybody that these politicians have been rejected by the Nigerian people. So INEC will not have any way to rig this election. And that is why we all must stand up and unite and don't allow these people to use tribe and religion to separate us. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.